Ryan will come back and lead us in worship after I'm done talking. Thinking save the best for last kind of deal today. Does that work for you guys? If you came prepared for like a really good motivational sermon, I am so sorry. It's the first Sunday of the year, and all I like to do on these Sundays is just kind of give us a view of where I believe God is leading us as a church. And this year, I want to open it up with some honesty, if I could. And some of you, and I'll look in some faces, were here pre-COVID. Do you remember those days? They feel like a blur. We were sharing a building with another church. Took 30 volunteers. I don't think there's even 30 people in this room. To do worship, kids ministry, set up, tear down, prayer. Courtney had like 8 girls making cookies every week and pouring coffee. We had full teams. We had week after week. A lot of what I believed at the time was momentum. And as a young church planner, it was like, okay, we're like, something's happening. This is cool. And then in a moment, everything changed. We were sitting at the Johnson's house. And we get this alert on our phones. The governor has shut down your whole life, like 2 weeks to flatten the curve. And we were all talking, like, this won't last long. Some of them were happy because they got the day off of work, But for almost a year after that day, we were a church on a screen. No rooms, no hallways, no worship team, just me, my brother who's behind that camera over there, and this fool. And we hung out in that little room for every day. We'd film music, we'd write music, we'd do it all and stream it to you guys. Like, hope it works. I hope they're watching. I hope this meets them where they were. But we were in what I felt like was survival mode. And so we made a decision carefully, consciously, to minimize all the things we do as a church in order to keep the church a church. So a smaller space, smaller team, and we asked almost nothing from people beyond the 4 of us that we thought were absolutely necessary to keep the doors open. And it wasn't a lack of faith in that season, I don't think. It was just like the wise thing to do. Let's keep this going. And then when we reopened, I didn't want to burn anyone out because I think at the end of that year, I was cooked. So I didn't want to pressure anyone for anything more from them because I felt like life already felt heavy in our world. So we trusted God to provide financially, and He did, and He always does, and He still does. We trusted God to get that message that we were putting out there to the right people at the right moment on the right day. And often I wonder, did we make the right call? Like, should we have done it? I don't really know the answer to that question, and I'm not really here to figure it out. But I believe still that season of our church required something. It required protection. Like, this is something that God is putting together, and right now, because of the way the world is, we're going to protect it. And if you're a parent, you know exactly what it's like to protect something. I see a lot of you new parents, especially when you have one kid. You're following that little walking baby like at any moment, like a truck could come out of nowhere, right? And then you get the second baby, and the first one's kind of neglected. And then you get a third, and you're like, welcome to the party, bud. This is where we're at. So it was that pastoral heart of mine that was like, I got to protect this. I don't want anyone in this season to feel like I'm adding more to their plate or demanding more of them. And you were faithful in it anyway. And so here's what I've been praying through lately as we enter a new year, and what I believe God is kind of speaking in return to me. A strategy that helped us survive in a crisis can potentially, and I believe we've gotten there, quietly limit us in a newer season. Like, what was meant to keep us safe and protected and harbored is now limiting us because that season has passed. Like, if you have a preteen or a teenage kid and you start walking around them in high school like you did when they were a toddler, they would be like, Mom, Dad, like, you gotta go because that season is past. And I want to be honest about why things have stayed so simple in our community for what feels like too long. I didn't simplify our team and the way we do church. We have breakfast, you get 3 sermons, and we got a couple of toys across the street. I didn't simplify all of that because I didn't believe in what God was doing here, and I didn't believe in you, or I failed to believe in myself. It was, honestly, I simplified and kept it simple because more scares me. And to give you a little insight, more scares me because of some fears that I have. And I don't think they're just fears unique to pastors. I think it's a human fear. What I'm learning is that many of us, over time, we make our lives smaller. Not because we don't want more life, but because we've experienced something every human does at one point or another: pain, hurt, loss. So some of us have been wounded in friendship, and now we keep things lighter. We're cautious. We're friendly, but we're careful. We don't let people get too close anymore, because closeness puts us at risk for hurt, pain, and loss. And loss, can we all agree, hurts. Like something, a part of you is missing now. Some of us have families with conversations that we never quite have because, not because they don't matter, they're important conversations, but we're afraid that something might break in the relationships if we bring them up. And so to keep the peace, we keep things quiet and we carry that tension anyway. Some of us used to dream bigger. And then when something didn't work out, without realizing it, we downsized the dream. Not because God told us to do it, but because our disappointments did. And at some point, many of us begin organizing our lives around what is manageable and not what is meaningful. Because meaningful things always require other people. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. You haven't left the group text. You put it on mute or silent because the drama of all of those people before 9 a.m., no matter how much you love them, is sometimes just too much. So we stay in the group, but we mute it because we don't have the emotional energy. When I look back, I realized something about our church. God has always given us favor. We lost a school. We got Noah's Event Center for dirt cheap. It was crazy. Noah shut us down. They went out of business. Another church opened their doors to us. We would show up to schools and the janitor wouldn't be there to open, and everything we did was in the school. And within minutes, another church, hey, come on over. You got it. Come over tonight. You can have your service there. Our church trailer was broken into. They took everything, like everything we had worked years to try to put together. And within a day, we had raised enough money from outside of our church to replace every bit of it, plus what the insurance gave us back. Like, I've seen God's faithfulness, not just as a church organization, but as a church living organism. I've seen God heal marriages. I've seen God heal relationships. I've seen God literally heal cancer in our church. I've seen some amazing stuff. So I don't question God's faithfulness. And I didn't organize the church the way it is now, smaller, simple, because I didn't trust God. And I didn't do it because I don't trust you. I did it because safety often feels easier. Easier than risking more attachment, more complexity, and for me and my wife and my family, more loss. Oftentimes as a pastor, and this is not something that's just me, but I know a lot of pastors, we can't continue to be the linchpins of our communities because, if we're being honest, I'm only assigned to you as your pastor as long as you decide to stay here. If you want to know how to fire your pastor, it's real easy. Just leave. You get to go to the next church or the next adventure, and me and my family are sitting here wondering, did we do something? Did we say something? Was it something we didn't do or didn't say? And leadership, especially pastoral leadership, means that people will come and people will go, and that is the job. And so in my mind, I see it like a conveyor belt. Like, here you are, you're coming hurting, broken, lost, or you're happy, you have some gifts to share, and the conveyor belt passes, and I get to hold you for as long as God says, hey, this is your responsibility. And eventually, I get to launch you into servanthood in the church, or being a good dad or a good mom, or moving on. And I've launched so many people out of state or something different. But a lot of times you're holding them and they just hop out of your hand like a frog, and you're like, what the heck did I do? And I know it's the job, but it still stings. Some people have left our church angry. Some of them have left rightfully angry at me, but I'm human. I don't know why y'all let me start a church at 25 years old. That was stupid. I didn't know what I was doing. I was making it up as I went along, and the stuff that you learn in books and conferences and seminary has nothing to do with what actually happens in a church. Some just moved away, off to Texas, off to Tennessee, off to stupid Austin, Texas. Some caused division on their way out. Some stayed and caused division until we asked them to go out. And some were quietly struggling in ways that I didn't see soon enough. And if we're being really, really honest today, some were so weird that when they left, we all breathed a sigh of relief. When you didn't see them that next Sunday, like, oh, thank God, that guy was so weird. And many of them were not just church members. They were my friends. So I built something over the last 4 years that 3 or 4 of us could carry. We could pull this off. Ray will preach, find a worship leader. Isaac can do all the tech stuff. We got Deja across the street. We could figure this out to where it's so simple that no one gets burdened, because a burden is a threat in my mind. If I burden you, then what if you leave? Or what if you burn out? Or what if you get upset? Or what if you think I'm demanding too much? And I don't preach on money. And if you think I do, you're crazy. Go to any other church in town, I promise. I'm not that guy. I don't preach on giving. We don't ask you to serve. We don't require anything as far as becoming or belonging to a membership process. And I'm realizing something now that I think I've known this whole time. What feels safe to me as a leader has quietly become limiting to us as a community. Scott McKnight, a New Testament scholar, put it like this. He said, a healthy church is not built on a few strong leaders, but on a shared culture of goodness. So normally in American church, this is the point in the sermon where I tell us all the cool things we're going to do this year, and how we're going to expand, or we're going to raise funds, or we're going to have our 19th campus. I don't know, whatever is cool now. But this thought has sent me back to Scripture. Somebody said, hey, when are you going to preach out of the Old Testament? So I've been kind of looking through the Old Testament, and it's funny how God puts things in front of you, but I went to the story of Nehemiah. If you don't know the book of Nehemiah, Nehemiah is the leader of Israel, and something has taken place. Jerusalem has been destroyed. The people are still there, but the buildings and the walls surrounding it have toppled. Everything they need is still there, but it's not secure and it's not strong. The walls are broken, the people are exposed, and they're vulnerable. And Nehemiah steps into this season of recovery, not a season of momentum. You get Joshua, he's like, follow me into Jericho, we're going to take it down. You get Moses, and he's splitting the Red Sea. And you get Samson, and he's killing 1,000 dudes with the jawbone of a donkey, right? And then you get Nehemiah, and there's no motivational speech. It's not Maximus, it's not Braveheart, it's not St. Crispin's Day. It's just hey guys, we we got to do something. So he starts picking up bricks, rocks, starts making a system. Nehemiah 4:6, he says, so we built the wall. And the wall was joined together to half its height. For the people had a mind to work. In 3 verse 28, it says, above the horse gate, the priests repaired, and then each one opposite his own house. Verse 15 says, we all went back to work, each to his own job. So here's what Nehemiah lays out. Hey, the priests will carry some extra. The leaders of our nation, the leaders of our religion, we're going to carry a little bit of extra. But your responsibility, Jerusalem, your responsibility, Israel, is whatever land you have adjacent to the wall that surrounds our city is now your responsibility. You have a big house, big property, big fields, great. That's a lot more wall for you. You got a little house, you got an apartment, you're sharing it, you walk outside and that portion of the wall, that's yours. Everyone took on responsibility. And they had this mind, we're going to do this. And I think in my desire to protect all of you from burnout or pressure or guilt or demands, that I may have also protected you from opportunity of something quite beautiful. A living, breathing church. A church where everyone carries something and no one carries everything. Rich Viotis out of New York put it like this in his book, A Deeply Formed Life. A healthy church is one where people can be fully human and deeply faithful at the same time. So I feel like God has been speaking to me in my heart, in my mind, and in these readings that maybe the answer was doing less. We're here, we made it. But maybe the answer now isn't doing less. Maybe the answer now is just doing it together. I don't believe our church is meant to be carried by 1, 2, or 3 people. It isn't meant to be sustained by a few. And the picture that Scripture gives us of what happens when faith and family and community and responsibility are shared is beautiful. In Acts chapter 2, this is the very first church. This is right. Jesus comes, he lives, he preaches, he dies, he rises from the grave, he ascends into heaven, he commissions his disciples and his apostles. And the church begins to grow. And this is the description of that church. They committed themselves to the teaching of the apostles, the life together, the common meal, and the prayers. Everyone around was in awe. All those wonders and signs done through the apostles. And all believers lived in a wonderful harmony, holding everything in common. They sold whatever they owned and pooled their resources so that each person's need was met. They followed a daily discipline of worship in the temple, followed by meals at home, every meal a celebration, exuberant and joyful as they praised God. People in general liked what they saw. So every day their number grew, and God added to those who were saved. This isn't my church. I got to hold it for a little while. This is our church, and mostly and primarily, this is God's church. And if it's his church, then he's the one we listen to, and he's the one who builds it, and we can carry it together without fear. So the good news is God's in it. The bad news is people are too. Humans will be coming to our church, and people will let you down, and they'll hurt you, and they'll leave you without a word. But this isn't mine, this is God's. So I don't have a vision board to show you. There are no goals, just a direction. Just this year, we're going to put the work we do as a church, just to put on Sundays, in your hands. And then we're going to facilitate us as a church doing work for those outside of these walls. So what does that look like? I don't know exactly. We're gonna map this out little by little. It's not a stark difference. It's not. I'm talking like we're turning up the heat, but just a couple degrees at a time. I have no desire in my heart, and you can ask Pastor Josh. He was there in my living room when I pitched the vision of Annex Church. I was gonna be the next whatever. We were gonna have the next whatever. We were gonna blow it up and crank it out. Like, I have no desire in my heart to do that. I got to coach baseball on Saturday, Like, I don't want the next big thing. But I do want to be faithful, and I do want to put the work in y'all's hands. So if you have a child that sits across the street on a Sunday, you'll be getting contacted soon about getting into the rotation of volunteering. Go hold a couple of babies so that someone can sit. If you come to breakfast, we're going to ask certain families on certain days, hey, it's your turn. Would you come set everything up? Or would you stay 10 minutes after and pack it all down? All the little things that, hey, we have a family in need, not even in our church, just Sandoval County. Rhett's spearheaded this before for us. We get emails every day. Hey, we got a family in a domestic violence situation. Mom's moved out. They need beds. Kids don't have beds. We can pitch in a little bit of money and get them some beds. We can organize that, right? Like, that's something we could do. I think about how guilty I feel sometimes as a pastor. My wife does these beautiful calligraphy classes. She'll put on a class and teach people how to write, pretty letters and stuff. She does an amazing job at it, and people sign up for it. She said, hey, this year, do you think I could use the church space? And I'm like, yeah, and we're going to have to figure out how that looks. I don't want everybody to think we're just taking advantage of the church space. And then I thought about it. I'm like, all y'all have had your baby showers here, got married here. Why can't she have a little calligraphy class here? And I just thought, it's this fear in me that I would be misconstrued as something. And so I'm gonna do my best to fight it, but in the process, it's not Ray cranking up his heat. I don't have any more. I ain't got no more heat. I can teach the Bible. I can love you through your situations. And even some of you have gotten to the point with me, loving you through your situations where I go, hey, here's my friend's number. He's a therapist. Go hang out with him. I'm a limited human being. So that's what I believe God's calling us to do, to walk outside the doors of our lives. We all darken these doors on Sundays and ask God, okay, what portion of the wall is mine? What portion can I contribute to? And then one day we'll look around and go, look what God did, and everyone gave enough. I love that he didn't say, everyone's got 600 feet of wall, no matter who you are. Just what's in front of you, just with what you have. Same thing with the tithe. God doesn't require an amount. He doesn't say, all right, buddy, you want to follow Jesus, it's X amount of dollars per month, like a gym membership. He says, you give a percentage of what you make, and if we all do it, everyone's needs are met. His process is so simple. He makes it so easy, but it ends up being so impactful in the long run. Likewise, I believe what I'm learning right now, some of you need to learn in your own lives too. Man, you've shut them out because the last person hurt you. You've given up because it didn't work out. You minimized the dream because it didn't work out the last time, and now you're afraid that you'll end up with egg on your face again. Man, you used to pray huge prayers. You used to have big dreams for your children, but now we've traded the meaningful, the miraculous, for what's manageable, what we can handle. More than that, what we can control. And what it's going to require of us, I believe, this year in your families, in your finances, in your workplace, in your relationships, is to walk outside our doors and look at the wall God wants us to build, our portion. Your portion may just be your neighbor who needs a little bit of love. It may be your coworker who needs to hear the gospel. It may be one of your kids that you haven't given that much attention to. Your portion of the wall may be a mirror. It's time to work on you. It's time to finally break that habit. It's time to finally get over and get healed. It's time to go to therapy, go to counseling. It's time to join a small group, get vulnerable again. It's time to worship like you used to worship. And I believe that if we have this mentality as a church community, the work won't be heavier. Oh man, we're doing this thing as a church and it's it's gonna feel like it is now. Easy, natural, when we all contribute and God gets all the glory. So if you're looking for a big inspirational first of the year sermon, I'm so sorry. but I wanted to give you an honest one. And I feel like sometimes there's questions like, how come we don't, or how come we didn't, or we used to, and I'm answering them. I'm not saying no, I'm just saying why we haven't. And I'm saying we can. You got ideas. Ken came up to me because, hey, we used to have these testimony days at my last church. Like, everyone gets up and just shares what God's been doing. And I thought, we could do that. That saves me a sermon. Like, that's great. I love it. Hey, let's do breakfast, but this time let's, whatever your ideas are. You got kids? I know that's not ideal. They're across the street. But sit down with Deja. Take her out to lunch. And maybe come up with some solutions together. Let's all take ownership in this community and see what God does when we're all faithful. I'm open to it, and I'm praying for our community that you would be open to it this year too. Can I pray for you and us? Father, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you. Sometimes it feels like everything's ruined, but we're just in ruins. The rocks are still there, the bricks are still there, the material's still there. We just have to rebuild. Some people feel like their marriage is in ruins, or their relationship, or they just feel so stuck at work, but they stay because it's safe and it's manageable. I pray that this would be a year where we trust you, and also we would trust others. Would you open our eyes to the places in our life that we need to rebuild those walls, to contribute at home or at work or here at church? Most of all, I pray that you would give us that quiet peace in our soul, that everything's going to be okay, that you've got us, that you have jobs for us, and in the end, you'll gloriously put all things together the way they should have been all along. We love you, Jesus. We worship you now in song. We worship you maybe for some of us like we used to worship you. We give you the thanks and praise now for all the good 2026 holds for us. In Jesus' name.